Star Wars is at its best when it's simple. Think about some of the most memorable lines throughout the saga. Do or do not, there is no try. Your focus determines your reality. There's always a bigger fish. If you've watched the new Ahsoka series on Disney+, Anakin Skywalker is back with some very classic Star Wars wisdom. And it sounds simple, but it is so much more than you realize. Ahsoka Tano never got over the fall of Anakin Skywalker. She learned so much from him during the Clone Wars as his Padawan, only to walk away and quit the Jedi Order just before Order 66 and Anakin fell to become Darth Vader. She's haunted, plagued by guilt, spends way too much time thinking about how the world would be different if perhaps she had stayed and made a different choice. Well, this is all wrong. After losing her duel with Baylan Skoll, Ahsoka gets kicked into the ocean and left to die. In the water there, her consciousness is shifted and she wakes up in what's called the world between worlds. It's sort of a blank space in the Force that exists beyond time or space. Anakin Skywalker appears to Ahsoka, and he says that he's come to complete her training, that she's never too old to learn, and so Ahsoka asks him, what's the lesson? And his answer is classic Star Wars punchy wisdom. He says, to live or die. Look, our lives are filled with so much pain and frustration and disappointment. It's an endless cycle of highs and lows. You lose your job and you think, this isn't happening. Your spouse or friend or parent gets sick, like terminally ill, and you think, again, this is not happening. For me, it was being in college at age 20 and my girlfriend says that she's pregnant, and I go, this is not happening. This is not the way that I had planned anything to be. Well, it is happening. That's why Anakin takes Ahsoka back into her memories of the Clone Wars, specifically the Battle of Ryloth. She was a kid, so many of them were, and none of them, not one Jedi, saw themselves as being appropriate soldiers in a civil war. They thought of themselves as keepers of the peace. And this destroyed so many lives and cast so many Jedi into despair. And Anakin reminds Ahsoka that he has to teach her to be a soldier. It's not something he wants to do, but he has to. This is war, Snips. And she asks, what if I don't want to fight anymore? Fair question. He says, you die. You die on the field of battle in the situation that you're in, with laser bolts flying past you and explosions all around. If you are unsure what to do and afraid to act in those key moments, you will be killed. On a personal note, I learned this playing paintball throughout my life. If you submit to being pinned down in those battles, you are done for. You've got to advance. And so Anakin does just this. I have felt like Ahsoka so many times. What if I don't want to fight or struggle anymore? Well, so did Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor of Rome, 2,000 years ago. He wrote in his diary, now called Meditations, about the urge to quit and just stay in bed. I mean, after all, it is so safe and warm there. And he writes, so you were born to feel nice instead of doing things and experiencing them? Don't you see the plants, the birds, the ants and spiders and bees going about their individual tasks, putting the world in order as best they can? And you're not willing to do your job as a human being? Why aren't you running to do what your nature demands? Are you listening? Because Anakin sounds a lot like this in a way. The job of a Jedi, he says, is to lead. The war may not be the Jedi way. It may not be good or righteous, but war is happening nevertheless. This is the situation as it exists. Live or die. To be a Jedi is to act, to meet the situation a certain way. Respond with gentleness amidst hate, courage amidst fear. Fight for peace in the middle of a war that you don't agree with. Better days are just around the corner, y'all, but you're gonna have to live today to get there. That means getting out of bed. That means going on that run. That means writing that next chapter even when you don't want to, and clocking in and out of yet another shift at a job that you don't like. This is the job of a human being. It is a fight, and you can win, like Ahsoka, if you move on from the guilt, the shame, the fear of discomfort and failure. You're going to have to choose to live. This is the way.